did the year go? So again, good morning to all of our MOED family. Today's learning session is brought to you by your MOED HR department. So everyone say good morning to my wonderful team. On the line, we have Brandon, Shade, and Rhonda. So we want to kick it off all in the spirit of serving you. It's our job. You are all of our customers. So serving the employees who serve the city is what we do in our department. And so there has been some tremendous and exciting changes within the HR department over the last year. All new faces on the team. People still tell me that I'm still fairly new, being here for 3 years. And so over the last few months, through various employee engagement events and various HR transactions, you've interacted with one or everyone on the team. But so visually on the screen, everyone should see the presentation and our organizational department structure. And so led by myself, and I have two HR journalists too, Sade and Brandon. And yes, I see some comments coming in the chat. Ironically, if they are both Sagittarius, it is Sagittarius season. Brandon's birthday is coming up, and Shade just had a birthday. So any other Sages can shout themselves out in the chat while we are just talking a little bit about all things HR. Rhonda Johnson, also an HR assistant with the team. Following up on the last Learn session, you heard a lot about ARPA, and we've since then, we've had a press release and received approval. So coming soon will be two new additional HR positions, along with other positions that we're going to have within our agency to support what we are doing to support job seekers and employers in the spirit of workforce development. So we will have two new positions, a HR generalist one and a recruiter to join our team, hopefully in January. We're going to start that recruitment this week. So wanted to share that with you so that you or your professional network can apply once those things are posted if you're qualified. So I believe it was in May that we introduced the department's mission statement. We thought that it was important to really establish that as we are rebranding the department, as well as enhancing the services that we have for all of you, our customers. And so as a refresher or new for those who have joined us, since then is our mission statement. This is something that we created as a team. So words from each and every one of our HR spirits came to this presentation to form this mission statement. We are committed to contributing to MOED's mission by passionately delivering human resource services to the city's workforce development professionals, that is you. We are motivated and determined to assist staff and are empathetic to challenges faced by our employees as they deliver on our mission to be a workforce system that works. That is our commitment to you. We share it publicly in this Learn session. We ask for your support, your help, and holding us accountable to that. We're always open to feedback. Also in the spirit of customer service, especially with us managing the hybrid work environment. We all have Google numbers or a mobile number that's designated for work for days when we're not physically in the office. So on here, and this presentation will be shared so that you have it at your fingertips, is each one of our email addresses and our work provided mobile number for you to contact your designated, HR person for whatever services you are in need of. Was there a question? Okay. So wanted to make sure we provided that to you all. We are 8:30 to 4:30, and all of us are in the office at 417 on Mondays and Thursdays. and as needed at other sites. So wanted to make sure all of you knew that as well. Wanted to also, this all in the spirit of how may we help you, give you an understanding at a very high level on the roles and responsibilities of the team so that you can, get the information you need most efficiently. And so, in my role, I am responsible for planning, leading, and directing everything across the entire division, and as along with the senior leadership team to ensure that the HR team is going beyond transactional, being very transformational in the work and services that we deliver, and it's really truly connected to all things workforce. And then the two generalist two-level positions, Shade and Brandon, they are responsible for performing and leading the daily functions across all of the functional areas of HR. And so that, to kind of put it in, specific items for you, that's all things, the recruitment. We have a lot of recruitment right now, with all of the exciting things happening in the spirit of employment in the Baltimore. But we also, everything that is within Workday, partnering with central payroll to make sure employees are paid correctly once you input in your information into the system, and all things about fostering positive employee relations and managing leave are some of the high ticket items that they're responsible for. And the way that I've structured the team is that we actually are divided, well, specifically Shade and Brandon, in terms of their designated client group or customer service group. All of us support everyone, but so that we can, especially with the way Workday is set up by supervisory orgs, I have them supporting for an entire fiscal year particular supervisory departments. And so those managers and leaders have gotten acclimated with them in that capacity. If you ever have a question about it, you can reference this document, you can ask your supervisor, or you can just simply email us. The thought is so that, one, for their professional development, they are going beyond just a transactional checking the box, checking off a list of things to do, but they truly understand the programmatic aspects of what that entire department is doing so that they can provide the depth and breadth of experience for full life cycle HR support for that department. And they seem to enjoy that, and we like that model, and so we are going to continue to perfect it. It allows them to also get ready for whatever the next level is for them in their career as well. Then also new to the team is Rhonda. She is supporting us administratively across the entire department, with special focus on ARPA and youth work programs. So she is responsible for a lot of the tracking and follow up and behind the scenes things that are happening with all things MOED employees. So wanted to give you guys that brief overview as well. Okay. So let's get into our service level commitment to you. We are putting it in black and white. We're sharing it with you. We want to make sure that we, as one of the many support functions in the agency, in our central office, we want to make sure that we're doing everything possible to service you, and we're turning and partnering where we need to outside of our agency. And so, in that spirit, our commitment to you is to respond within 2 business days of a request. And we are asking that you email the team shared mailbox at moedhr@oedworks.com and copy your designated HR generalist. Okay, so for example, who do I see on my screen? I see Curtis face in the box, so I'll just use him as an example. So Curtis is on the Youth Works. He's within Youth Services. He sits at 24th Street, main location, reporting to the dynamic program for Youth Works regime. So his designated HR generalist is Shade. So if he needs something, he knows this. He's been full-time since September. He's rocking and rolling. He sends an email to the box and he always includes your day. It's a way for us to make sure the intention is so that if anyone is out of this, like you guys are human, we could be out of the office unexpectedly. Many of you know that I had a crazy bubble ball accident in May and I was out of the office. No one planned, I wasn't a planned surgery, but I was out. And so if things are going there, it's our intent so that we can make sure that we're all covered and we can help and support each other. In doing so, if someone is out, okay.
Excuse me, Maisha.
Yes. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great and grateful. How are you?
Good, great. My question is, did you say that you all are only in the office on Mondays and Thursdays?
We're physically on site at our central office on Mondays and
Okay.
Thursdays currently.
So what does that mean? Let's say if I need to contact someone in the HR on, it could be, let's say, a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday. Can you still be contacted?
Yeah, we can be contacted via email or our phone numbers
Oh,
any
okay.
day, Monday, well, any work day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
We are physically on site on those days. That is the Benton building at this current moment isn't fully open to all city agencies based off of the city's reopening plan. So we're physically on site those days.
Okay. But yeah, I just needed to know in case, I needed to contact you on one of those
You
other
can
days.
contact us at any time between Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, unless it's a city observed holiday.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Um, and we'll have that information in black and white also on the last slide of this presentation. We also want to give some tips so that we can better service you. If you could just include as much detail as possible in your request, that would be very, very much appreciated. Sometimes we get emails that says, "Can you please call me?" And we want to make sure that if there is some pre-work that we need to do, we are or we're prioritizing items that we have as much information as possible as we are servicing and managing in multiple different things at a time. So for example, if it's payroll, why was my pay short? Did you take a look at your timesheet and then leave? And then we're going to go through some examples just so you can get some visuals on that in just a second. But as much detail as possible will be very much appreciated. We want to also share that so that you all know that we are like that one-stop shop for you, and there are certain instances that we have to partner with other city agencies. So we don't always have all of the answers, or we're not the sole decision maker on certain items. And so, in order to do that, we are happy to facilitate and be the liaison, and that is our role as agency HR practitioners within the city. We want to make sure that that sometimes we have to reach out to our partners at Department of Human Resources, who supports all 13,000 city employees. We have to reach out to the Office of Labor Commissioner. You saw last week, once the Labor Commissioner sent out communication about the early dismissal, we partner with getting direction from them on those type of items, as an example. We partner with the Baltimore City Office of Information Technology. We partner with them directly on credentials and security access for your workday credentials and password resets and things of that nature. And finally, many people may not know this, but payroll is handled by the city's Department of Finance. And so we are regularly interacting with all of these different agencies, sometimes several times a day, for various projects or ad hoc requests. And so we do our best to can facilitate in an expeditious, timely manner. But we want to make sure that you are aware that and our servicing you. Okay. Continuing on as it relates to our service level commitment to all of you, as we have in the past, we host different employee meetings since in the last 18 months or so, many of that has been happening via WebEx. On some instances, you've seen us recently. Brandon and I was at Eastside. I was at Northwest a couple weeks ago. We've gone to WRC, West IO. We've been to all of the open locations that we have as needed. Of course, still practicing all of the city's COVID protocols. But whether it be focus group roundtables that we've had by union group or by division, we've done it, whether there are different trainings on new and updated policies and protocols like we did not too long ago with the vaccination protocols. We've also just hosted office hours for people just to pop in. We've done it recently with open enrollment. We do it with Workday. And all of this is because of you. This is because of your feedback. We're just like you had to reimagine how to service your customers. We're doing the same thing. We hear from you all. We value hearing from you. And so we continue to add to that, and we will continue to do that based off of the feedback that we've received and that we continue to receive. So keep it coming. And as long as we have bandwidth, we'll manage and we prioritize to make sure we do things such as that to support all of you. Okay, if we can go on mute unless you have a question. Someone have a question? One of the things we want to note also is if you have time-sensitive HR concerns, we ask that you pick up the phone and call. We are managing multiple tasks and priorities throughout the day, and we want to make sure we answer you in a timely manner if it's something that requires immediate action. So some of those things that come top of mind for us is obviously if it's pay impacting, you send an email, but that's a call as well. Like, if you want to send an email, you can, but like I think it's important that you pick up the phone and call so that we can work on it more expeditiously. Like, this Friday is a payday. You should be able to see your paycheck starting tomorrow. So as we are in our email for certain items, also in different meetings, we're doing interviews, we're working on developing project, different presentations. Sometimes that phone call can, in terms of what we need to do, can help us to get to you faster. If we can mute, that would be great. Appreciation. If it's injury or illness related, we've had that as well. So, send an email, but hey, we actually have a real situation. I was driving the van. I had a car accident. I want to make sure I do the appropriate protocol. That's an example of a phone call. Obviously, everything with COVID-19, an email and a call is definitely helpful so that we can get to you in an expeditious way. And again, that call should be to your designated HR generalist to assist you. And then for unresolved and complex matters are sent to me. My team is equipped. If they need anything, they will connect with me. So any unresolved matters or complex matters that are occurring can be escalated to me directly. Other than that, you are in great hands with my mighty current team of 3. So we wanted to make sure some of these things can help you that we've talked through. The last 2 slides will show you the best way for us so that we can better serve you. So I'm going to turn it over to Brandon and talk a little bit about some of our trends in the HR inquiries. These are some of the hot topics or things that come through our phone or email or our office, and we want to just talk through some things to keep in mind as you are reaching out.
All right. Thank you, Maisha. So as you all know, recruitment is a huge function of ours. And just to give you a quick overview, we kind of go through an internal process from posting the position to vetting through candidates. So we work a lot with our fiscal team just to make sure that the position is coming from the correct fund. We also work with our hiring managers to review resumes, set up interviews, just to make sure that we are making that commitment to getting the right talent in our agency. We also work with city partners as well as we go through the hiring process, just to make sure that we get the background checks and everything cleared from our employees coming in the building. So I know you all are very equipped and you're always out on the front lines, making sure that our residents, reach their fullest potential. But we also want to make sure that you keep in mind that, we want you to reach your fullest potential as well as a MOED employee. So we are always hiring, as Maisha said. And if you see anything online, we just want you to make sure that you review the job post and make sure that you meet the qualifications. For example, if you are, a CDF or something of that nature, and you want to move up in the organization and you want to become a supervisor, just make sure that you're taking those steps to make sure that you meet those qualifications. Make sure that your resume is updated. I know we spend a lot of time making sure our resumes are updated, but you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself marketable as well. So make sure that your resume is updated if you plan on growing your career here in our agency. You also want to make sure that you have a conversation with your supervisor regarding the internal opportunity that you are looking to apply for. I think it's very important that you keep an open dialogue with your supervisor. They may have some type of feedback that may be helpful in you growing your career. So as we tell our customers to prepare for interviews and screenings, you want to make sure that you're being mindful of your interview and screening as well. So making sure that you follow the steps to make sure that your interviews and everything are being completed. So we do have a two-step process. You can either be phone screened or you can complete a video interview. All right. So I know a few of us have gone through the interview process via WebEx. So we want to make sure that you have questions for your interviewers. So I know you're intern, but you want to make sure that you treat this interview as if you are just walking through the door. Have questions, have follow-up questions, because you are looking to transition into a new role. And also, if you're not selected, don't let it stop you. We always encourage you to look for other roles as well within the agency. So always be open to feedback. Maybe that position may not be a good fit, but hey, maybe another position may be a better fit for you within the agency. So always be open to feedback, because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to make sure that we all work to our fullest potential. So leave request is also a huge HR function. So you want to make sure, I know we get a lot of requests for FML and ADA, but you want to make sure you're submitting those requests through Workday. And just a quick thumbs up, everybody knows what Workday is, correct? I hope you do. All right, great. So everybody knows what Workday is. So payroll, which is the most important part of our function. Just be mindful. Timesheets should be submitted and approved by the end of the week on a Friday, as we do not receive a paycheck. Please keep in mind that a lot of what we do inside the agency, a lot of it is not done in-house. So if your timesheet is submitted and approved on a Monday of a pay week, you're subject to increased risk and pay delays. So if you do run into that issue, we have to reach out to one of our city partners in our payroll department to get that issue resolved. It's not something that we can kind of handle in-house. So just be mindful of that. So the magic numbers you should be looking for, 36.7 weekly and 73.4 hours biweekly. So especially for supervisors, if you're seeing those numbers are kind of an indicator that time is being submitted correctly. Of course, you want to make sure that you comb through it, but you want to make sure if you see those numbers, then you're on the right track. But again, you just want to be mindful that you submit your time on time, or you run the risk of not getting paid on time. Right. So I'm going to pass it over to Shade to kind of go into more detail about time entry.
All right, thank you, Brandon. So the next few slides, I'm going to just, briefly discuss some things that you can look within your timesheet to see if there's anything that's a little funky with it. And that way, before you get your paycheck and you realize, oh, there's a decrease in my paycheck, we can be more mindful of what to look for in our timesheet and be able to avoid those issues. So I have a couple of examples that we typically get when someone notices that their pay was short. The first one is A lot of times when I get an email from someone saying that their pay is short, I take a look at their timesheet. And one of the main things is if you look at this timesheet over here, go back. Sorry. If you look at this timesheet here, there was someone that requested that they used paid leave and they didn't get paid that leave. So as you can see, I have it highlighted in circle to show that that area is blank. So they might have submitted the leave, but may not have been approved or may not have been completed. So a lot of times if you look at your timesheet and you notice that it's blank, it means that there's nothing, there's no calculated hours that you worked, or there's no record that you requested leave on that day. If you look a little bit to my right, you can see that there's like holiday leave. Whenever you have leave and it's approved, that's what it looks like. So as you can see on the bars to either side, like those long bars show like your hours that you were in the office and you worked. And then these shorter bars, you can, Gerald, you can increase the size of the screen on the left. There's a magnifying glass and you can click zoom in. It's a plus sign. But the bars you can just look at and see that one is leave and the other one is, you know, your hours worked. And then if we go on to the other slide. So as you can see on this example here, the last 2 days on that timesheet, I have it highlighted. It shows that those 2 days are approved and they're green. So you want to make sure that your timesheets are green for every day that you worked, whether it was leave that you use or actual hours that you worked. If it's not green, if it's gray, or if it's just blank, that's an indicator that your pay is going to be short unless it's corrected. And when you notice that your pay is short, you can either enter your hours yourself and then submit it over to your manager, or if that time has lapsed and it's passed and you can't touch your timesheet anymore, you can inform your manager, and if it needs to be escalated to us, it can. And then we can resolve it. And then here's another example that we get sometimes, especially for employees that are hourly. The workday timesheet could be a little sensitive if you come into work a little earlier or later than what the timesheet has you scheduled for. So like, let's say I was scheduled to come into work at 8:30 and I came in at like 8:50. The timesheet likes to hold that, even though you clocked in, sometimes it likes to hold that information because it sees that it's not matching. So there are times where you might have clocked in and clocked out, or at least, you know, you made the action to do that, but the timesheet isn't recognizing it. So I just ask that when you submit your timesheets on that Friday before we get paid, that you take a look at your own timesheet, which we all have access to in Workday, to ensure that all of your days that you came into work are showing. And then if you go on to the next slide, this is what a timesheet looks like, and you want it to look like this. You want it to be green everywhere because that shows that your manager approved it, and then over at our HR department, we approved it as well. So most of the time, if it's green like this, you're good to go and your paycheck will be as expected. Okay, and then with that said, on time, so of course things happen. Sometimes you do everything right, and for whatever reason, Workday miscalculates it. So we do have paycheck issues that we have to escalate over to payroll. And there are 3 scenarios with this. So first, we can request an on-demand or off-cycle check, which is usually the checks that you'll be able to pick up. Payroll prints checks, regardless of situation, every Wednesday and Friday. So for on-demand checks, you have to be short 3 days worth of pay or more, or usually there's a workday miscalculation. So if it's something where it wasn't a human error, it was something with Workday, they'll make an exception and get that that check printed out sooner. And then there are times, so even though it has to be 3 days short or less, there are times that we can make an exception request, but again, that's not always guaranteed. So we do it off of a case-by-case basis. The other scenario is an on-cycle check request. So with this, your paycheck is short within 1 to 2 days of pay, so less than 3, and the payments will be retroed and processed as an additional paycheck to your next scheduled pay date. So let's say something was wrong with your last paycheck that we all got. When was the last time we got paid? On the 19th. Then, wait. Yeah, on the 19th. And then your next paycheck will be a little bigger on the 3rd. And then lastly, there's a stop payment. So for this, these are for employees that get their check mailed. Unfortunately, we have to wait 4 business days before we can make a request over to central payroll, because they want to ensure that the check was, you know, it's mailed, and they try to avoid situations where they do a stop payment Because once they do a stop payment and you get your check in the mail, but you don't have the new one yet, you can't use that old check anymore. So they try to make sure that they wait out for the post office. But at that time, we request a stop payment usually the Thursday after you say that you don't have a check. And then Central Payroll connects with the bank to ensure that your check wasn't cashed out. And then after they do that, they print a new check, again, usually on the Wednesday or the Friday. So those are the three scenarios. And as you can see, it's lengthy. And, you know, when you have a pay delay, you want to make sure you get paid as soon as possible, which is why we try to be more proactive in determining when our timesheets look a little off, so we can correct it by the time we get paid and not have to, you know, deal with waiting for the extra money to come back. And now I'll steer it back to Maisha.
Thank you, Shade. So we're coming to the end. So thank you for your patience, and we're going a couple minutes over. But we put in here some links to some resources that we reference, and when we receive inquiries, we direct employees to certain policies and resources from our different partners. So the administrative manual is a one-stop source for all of the city policies. You can find HR and finance related policies there. It's managed by the Department of Finance. Also, all of the frequently asked questions as it relates to payroll. The link is there for that as well. There's a City of Baltimore intranet if you're not familiar. Various information there for employees to reference. Obviously, the Department of Human Resources. So most times if we're referring you to there, it's for benefits related matters. Most of the time, that's the time when we actually direct our employees to that division. There's a separate agency that handles retirement. So you can reach out to them for specific information regarding your retirement or questions and things of that nature. We do not have direct access. Again, this is a situation where we're really just being a liaison and facilitating and making sure you have the resources. The Labor Commission's office is where all of the contract agreements are housed. You don't have to be on the city network to get to this website. This is where you can look at the CUB or the MAPS MOU, also known as the contract agreement. And then lastly, the Workday resources. On the Workday website, this is where you'll find all of the videos and job aids to perform certain actions as an added level of service. We frequently share screen and walk employees through it. As you heard Brandon mention earlier, the leave request, currently employees still send us an email for that. We want to start shifting to using the self-service tool and employees actually submitting their FML requests via Workday, their job aids on this. And we're also happy to share and actually walk individuals through that at any time for your request. And then finally, we appreciate your time today. We thank you for allowing us to serve you. Marilyn, to your earlier question, our hours are here 8:30 to 4:30. Our department main line, so you now have 5 different numbers to reach us on, and 5 different email accounts. So we thank you all. We'll stay on just in case there's any questions. We'll make sure we responded to everything in the chat. So that's all, folks.
Thanks, everybody.
Well,
Thank
I just
you.
want to say thank you to Maisha and Shade and Brandon and Rhonda, you know, for everything you guys are doing, but especially during COVID. HR has had to play a lead role, and the policies are always changing because our circumstances are changing. And I just appreciate how you guys have led and adapted and gotten us through this. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for everything. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jessica.
Amazing. Just a quick question while I have you here. Will there be more polo shirts distributed?
The batch that went out are for those employees. The short answer is yes, eventually. The long answer is the ones that we have are those who submitted the survey in August. So the
Diane, can I jump in, Maisha? Sorry.
Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead,
'cause
go ahead, Shane Trees.
Diane, I did get your order, so there is a second batch that's coming.
Okay,
The
all right,
ones
thank you.
that
'Cause I
submitted.
did the
Yes.
survey and there are several here in the building who did the survey and didn't receive theirs. So I thank you. That's what they were wondering.
Yes, so I have the second survey. I think it was only 15 people that submitted on there, so I do have that order coming.
Okay, thank you.
Are people excited about their polo, Diane? Is that the sense that I'm
They're
getting?
very excited. Look, I was hoping to have mines for tomorrow because weather permitting, we're gonna do another outside event.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just borrow one of the other ones in my same size since some new ones are coming.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Oh, and
Everybody who's left, everyone have a great rest of the week. I'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
You too, Diane.
did Darrell get his question answered?
I kept sending him messages. He didn't. I kept sending a message back and forth. I even asked him what was the issue,
Okay.
when did he submit it? So I'll reach out to him.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure what ticket. Oh. Brandon trying to get his birthday wishes.
He's so spoiled.
No. My birthday's in 10 days.
So we throw that in there.
As